Proverb, I am because we are, is the foundation of the ACBN YouTube channel. Tap in for all of our remarkable content and ecosystem mobilization through the phenomenal practitioners and thought leaders we engage on this channel. In the words of Adrienne Marie Brown, things are not getting worse, they are getting uncovered. We must hold each other tight to pull back the veil. Get ready for another amazing ACBN powered interview.
Yes. So welcome, my brothers. I appreciate your leadership and diligence. As always, we want to begin all sessions by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We also acknowledge all our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So I wanted to start on this session with just a simple quote. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. That's our good ancestor, MLK Jr., and it's because Black History Month, we always give thanks to our ancestors. So I want to begin with I am statements. And an I am statement is a very simple activity. You say your name, how you're feeling in the moment, like your name, your title, what business organization you represent, and how you're feeling in the moment. So I'll start. My name is Victor Beausoleil. I'm a husband, father of four, currently the executive director of SETSI, which stands for Social Economy through Social Inclusion. And I'm feeling grateful that on a Saturday, we can come together as brothers to build and share and learn together. I'm going to hand it off to my colleague and elder, Ross Cadastra, the president of the BBPA.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Ross Cadas, chair of the BBPA. I also run a business, founder and CEO for an organization called Innovative Talent Solutions. I feel excited today. Anytime we have an opportunity to come together as Black men to talk about our business and to really focus on building generational wealth.
Ashe. Thank you, Elder. I'm going to hand it off to our colleague, Ryan O'Neill-Knight.
Yes, I am feeling productive yet not overwhelmed. Always a pleasure to be on with my other brothers. I know I learned a lot from my elders and the youth work that we do, so it allows me to teach, but proud to be here. Thanks, Brother Vic.
We appreciate your leadership, brother. As well as the founder of ACBN, you're also a business owner and entrepreneur. Could you give us some insights on what you do, brother?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. So we work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage to help them scale up their companies. And I'm an entrepreneur myself. I do run a business called Detailing Nights. So we offer mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses, their offices, clean their cars on the spot without water and our plant-based, eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And we also have a youth entrepreneurship division that is starting soon. So if you know a high school or college student or somebody out of school that is looking for a summer job, definitely send them my way because we'd love to show them they have the potential to start their own businesses and be entrepreneurs, even if it's for the summer.
Incredible. Thank you so much. And a few folks have joined us after the introduction. So our elder Ross Cadastra, the president of the Black Business Professionals Association, has introduced himself, and Ryan O'Neill-Knight has just introduced himself. We're going to move it on to our brother Clement Essine.
Thank you very much, brother. I am grateful to be here today, and I am grateful for all the leaders in the room and for the opportunity to continue to share generational and transgenerational knowledge and transgenerational information amongst our community, and to begin to build those generational wealth that our community needs for sustainability and for growth. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
I appreciate your leadership as always. We're going to hand it off to our brother Tim Frey.
Thank you, Victor. Hi, everyone. My name is Tim Frey. I am the founder and CEO of Hospice Group of Businesses. I represent an initiative called Executives Power Up, where we identify, analyze, and qualify Black businesses that are ready for scaling through investments, branding, and marketing, and whether it's through franchising or corporate ownership. I feel blessed. I feel blessed for family. I feel blessed for my kids, for my grandkids, just to be here to share with them how to actually form generational wealth. And I'm glad to be part of this Black Men in Business. Thank you, Victor.
I appreciate you. We're going to pass it off to our brother, Tony Downey.
What's up, gentlemen? Thank you for having me. I'm Tony. I run an organization called Jobify, which is a software and tech company powered through artificial intelligence that helps young people get started in life with their careers. So we provide entry-level opportunities and work experiences for them as they look to become productive members of society.
We appreciate your leadership, Tony, and your brilliance. We're going to hand it off to our colleague, Septon Spence.
Hey, how are you? How are you, everybody? Thanks for being here. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. My name is Septon Spence. I have a construction company in Toronto. I am also a part of the Afro-Caribbean Contractors Association, where we elevate Black contractors. We also bring them out of the dark, as we would say, underneath the desk, bring them into the opportunities that is there and grow them from not just a contractor, but all the way up to a developer.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Septon. We're going to hand it off to our colleague, Sasha Boxell.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. My name is Sasha Boxell. I've worked in real estate investment banking in the U.S. for the last 15 years. I currently work for Scotiabank, running their real estate investment banking, corporate banking team. I'm in the process of forming a real estate development company with 3 other brothers in New Jersey, one of which built my home, and he's a brother from Trinidad, and he's looking to move into the entrepreneurial space. And we are seeking to petition the city of Newark for development contracts around building affordable housing for the Black community within Newark and the East Orange areas. So that's what I'm focused on. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your leadership. As always, Sasha, we appreciate you. We're going to hand it off to our colleague, Devon Jones.
Thanks, Victor. Apologies, I'm just transporting my son from activities to activities, so I'm in the car. But yeah, I'm feeling enthusiastic, as always, about doing this work. I'm the founding director of YACE. YACE is the Youth Association for Academics, Athletics, and Character Education, with an emphasis in family support, employment and training, education and learning, case management, and public safety. So we oversee a big public safety portfolio, also doing a lot of work with the province around those set of initiatives. I'm also part owner of several large sports facilities, the Playground Consortium in Toronto, the largest sports facility in Canada.
Thank you so much for your leadership, Devon. We really appreciate you. We're going to hand it off to our colleague, Tosin.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Tosin. I'm really grateful to be here today. I serve on the board of the BBPA as one of the directors on the board, and I also co-founded a company and serve as the CEO as well, called Welcome You. It's up in the East Coast, and we pretty much just try to assist a lot of newcomers, especially within the Black community, settle in smaller communities within Canada, and also provide technology to a lot of the agencies around here that do work with within our community. So I'm grateful to be here today, and I'm excited to be among a lot of Black excellence here on this call today.
Indeed, we appreciate you, brother. We're going to hand it off to our brother, Kwamina Mensah.
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet everyone. My name is Kwamina Mensah. I'm currently a co-founder of a business called Mensah Enterprises. We actually own a farm in Keonko, which is in West Africa, Ghana. And today I am feeling quite invigorated, quite appreciative of this moment, because I think us being a collective and us actually working together is one of the most imperative stuff of empowerment. So definitely I feel inspired, and I also feel appreciative to be a part of this moment as well. So I'd like to thank you again.
Thank you for your leadership. We're going to hand it off to our brother, Pharaoh Hamid Freeman.
Peace, Grand Rising, everybody. Thanks for having me here today. I'm Pharaoh. I'm the founder of the OFC. We are the Melanated Community Resource Hub and Network based in Montreal. We serve a network of about 16,000 members and subscribers. We pride ourselves in being a resource hub for the community. So basically, as individuals come to us for different products and services, we refer them to businesses within the community. But our strength is really uniting everybody around our value and our vision, which is to really unite and build an economic foundation for our future generations. So anybody who sees the value in coming together and working together as a community first is welcome to be a part of the OFC, and we're here to serve. So thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen right now. Wonderful. So the first question for the group is, what are the most promising models in business developments have you identified through your entrepreneurial journey? So the first person I'm going to ask that question to is going to be Ross, and then Tony.
Man, that is a tough question, especially for looking like the way we look like, right? For black business owners. For me, through my journey, and if I talk a little bit about my journey as an entrepreneur, I'm from the beautiful island of St. Lucia, and my journey started there. My journey started at high school, trying to I found a niche in a certain area, and I took advantage of it. But what I found through my career, even coming here to Canada, and all of the challenges that we have as Black people trying to get ahead, what I've found for any business owner is mentorship is kind of the biggest opportunity you have. For me, it was finding somebody that, one, believed in me, somebody that believed in where I was going, and kind of took me under their wing and said, listen, I'm going to help you get there. And we find that we can find that in our community, but we can find that and outside of our community. And in my case, I found it outside of our community, somebody who believed in what we're doing. So mentorship, I think, is the biggest opportunity that we have as business owners.
I noticed our brother Alfred from Tribe Network just joined us. Alfred, could you introduce yourself? And I'm going to ask you that exact same question. The question is, what are the most promising models in business development have you identified on your entrepreneurial journey? Please introduce yourself first, though, brother.
Thank you, Victor. Sorry for my lateness. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Joining you all from Halifax. I see a few familiar faces on the call, so good to be with you all. So Tribe Network is an entrepreneurship and innovation hub for Black, Indigenous, and folks of color. We're one of the ecosystem partners for the BEP program, the Black Entrepreneurship Program. So we're focused out in Atlantic Canada in supporting Black startups, supporting them with access to mentors, access to coaches one-on-one. We host webinars and workshops online and in person. We connect, promising startups to VC capital, to banks for potential loans, to face the existing loan fund. So that's a little bit about me and Tribe Network. And brother Victor, your question is, what are some of the promising models in business development?
Absolutely, that you've witnessed so far. Our elder Ross spoke specifically around frameworks around mentorship, but are there any promising models that you've identified on your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, mentorship is huge. Obviously, I think for me personally, my sort of entrepreneurship journey began in high school, and I think it's really powerful for youth to have that experience early, to be put in a scenario where, as peers, they're challenged to solve a problem and to solve it in a way that generates economic benefit for not just themselves, but their community. And so that was something that for me was transformative, was having that experience in high school, where after school, for over the course of a year, like I'm building a business with my peers. And it was an opportunity that allowed me to build confidence in the entrepreneurship journey, to make mistakes, to fail. And I think, as I think about how we, make business better and, create entrepreneurs that are doing good, I think at a young age, it's a very, in the high school age, it's a very opportune time to introduce entrepreneurship to youth and to allow them to solve the problems that they want to solve, and not sort of project onto them things to solve, but to actually allow them to see the problems they want to solve and to create the environment where they can solve it. So for me, that was very powerful, from the age of 16 to 18, having that opportunity with my peers.
Absolutely. Before we go to Brother Tony, in terms of that journey that you've walked, my brother, and just as a board member of your organization Tribe, put out there, what is the operating budget for Tribe? Like I would show these brothers what you've been able to do when it's a mission-driven business. You scaled Tribe to a remarkable organization in a few years. How old is Tribe now?
Tribe is going to be 2 years in March.
2 years in March. Operating budget roughly?
$1 million. Well,
there you go. So
$1 million today and about 4 million confirmed for the next 2 years.
That's remarkable. And once again, those roots and those seeds are planted within your formative rites of passage years. Thank you, brother. Brother Tony, in terms of that exact same question, what are some of the promising models in business development you've identified on your entrepreneurial journey that's been so remarkable and so successful?
I would say one of the strongest ones I've had is personal branding. I've spoken with Ryan, my good brother here, about personal branding. But I think if you look at everyone in this room, right, or everyone in this virtual room, if all of you were creating content around whatever your niche is, whatever your expertise are, and you had amassed even a niche following, let's say 10,000 followers on any platform, LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever, any business you're starting, it would be that much easier to get attention on it. So I think in the age we're living in right now, I've noticed through the businesses I've built, and I had a tech exit by the time I was 23 with the company I was involved in. That was because of my personal brand. I was doing a lot of public speaking. Now I'm with Jobify, getting acquisition offers for Jobify from some big boys because we reached top 10 in the App Store. So, but it's all been because of my personal brand. Like I've been connected with some billion-dollar companies like Burger King and Dave & Buster's who sponsored my speaking tours. My personal brand has opened doors in terms of banking partners. It's all been personal branding. And I think a lot of people ignore the expertise and knowledge they have because they're so busy running a business that they forget to put out content online and share those thoughts. So I would say it's something worth looking into. It's something I'm actually trying to figure out, how do I help more people do it and make it scalable? But that's where my mind's at right now.
You're doing it right now just by sharing with the brotherhood. So we appreciate you, brother. Thank you. I know that our elder Christopher Alexander joined us late. Chris, if you can introduce yourself to the brothers, as well as answer that question in terms of promising models you've identified in business development on your entrepreneurial journey. Go ahead, elder.
Thanks, Victor, and hi, everyone. Sorry, it's a different call. Actually, I run a company called Zoo Service Enterprise, which is a consulting company. And I work with some of the people on the call here right now. But what I found is collaboration, working together. And I think it's critical if we look at the pie and take a slice out of that pie. So there's a lot that can be happening, and we can share knowledge, share resources, just collaborate together, because I think there's not a lot of us in this space here. And if we can come together, build together, and share those resources, then it's a more powerful force to work with. And I find that's working for me more than anything else, because the people that I work with, we leverage each other in terms of what they can do, what I can do, what I can bring to the table for them, and what they can bring to the table for me. And I find with that, it's much easier to move ahead as a group, as opposed to trying to do it on your own. That's something that's working for me today. And in fact, my business model is built around that. So that's what we do right now.
Absolutely. And for those that don't know, our elder has been doing work for years in the banking space. Scotiabank at one point was the lead for Caravana. So those actionable insights don't come from a place of just theory. This is a practitioner, an owner, operator. I'm going to hand it off. I see Elder Ross and Brother Pharaoh have their hands up. Go ahead, Ross.
Sorry. I just wanted to, just listening to Tony speak, I just wanted to add something to the branding conversation. In the summer, I had the opportunity to sit with Magic Johnson, famous basketball player, but also business leader. And one of the questions I asked him is, I said, being a leader in business, what keeps you awake at night? And his response was my brand, protecting my brand and ensuring my brand is out there. So I think, Tony, what you just said really, really resonates with me, because I think as business leaders, we always have to protect our brand. And talking to what Craig opened up with, and our brand should include ethics and integrity and be purposeful in how we carry ourselves. So the digital stuff and all of that is great. It's what people see, but you as a business owner, who are you? You have to, who am I? And making sure that that brand is intact. Really, really good.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That mission-driven business model, ensuring that brand recognition, and as well leveraging the framework around your personal brand on all these platforms to ensure that if you have the ability to engage the masses, you can shine your lights. When you look at the work of Brother Rashid Ball and Troy Mullings at Earn Your Leisure, that didn't happen by accident. That's 10,000 hours these brothers building capacity around financial literacy that brought them to where they are today. So go ahead, Brother Pharaoh.
Thanks. So I actually want to echo a little bit of what Brother Chris was mentioning in terms of working together in collaboration. So what I've found over the years, I don't, some of you guys might be familiar with the network BNI, Business Networking International. The model of creating these networks where as entrepreneurs, business owners, where we could refer business to each other and collaborate with each other, but having that also based on accountability, professionalism, quality products. I have found, and we do it within the OFC as well, that it's a model. It's like a win-win for everybody. It does generate a lot of revenue within the collective, and it helps you to build. You're stronger in a collective. So that's one of the models that we've seen, that we've worked and we've implemented also within the OFC.
Incredible. I give thanks for your leadership. In terms of the clear traumas that we've gone through as leaders, as business owners, operators in our communities post-COVID and post a lot of things, the Berlin Conference, the partition of Africa, the transatlantic slave trade, a plethora of things that impact Black men and Black business. Many of our colleagues raise awareness around rest as a form of resistance. As a business leader, how essential is self-care and well-being to you as brothers? So I'm going to put that question out specifically in this context to Sasha Boxell. Just I know how intense your workload is, 80-hour work weeks, managing a large team of I don't even know how many. Like, how essential is self-care, rest, and even exercise? Like, how essential is that to you as a business leader?
Well, I'll tell you, in my environment, I work in a very results-driven environment where emotions and feelings are not valued at all. People only care about getting the work done. And I just wanted to make one comment on the branding thing that I don't think was mentioned. I think it's extremely important. Again, in my environment, it's all about results driven. So what I tell young brothers and sisters that enter into my fold, I say, look, you got to speak with your work. Your work has to be pristine. And I think a lot of people forget about that. They're concerned about how they look, their dress, and that is important. But what's more important than anything else is being very prepared or overly prepared for meetings and putting your absolute best foot forward. So that's what I focus on. And then in my business, we're focused on putting together quality housing in depressed neighborhoods, which most developers are not. They're looking at putting together the quickest, dirtiest, roughest thing that may, slap some shiny sinks and a shiny toilet in there, and everybody thinks it looks good. But behind the walls are the cheapest insulation and the cheapest form of like electrical wiring. Like, so all these things to me are important, putting together a quality product. And then as far as mental health and wellness and all these and what you just asked, again, in the banking space, nobody cares about that. So what I tell people is, you have to put yourself first, wake up earlier. I wake up at 5 a.m. I work out before I go to work. I meditate for 20 minutes. That helps me get through my day. And if you don't do that, if you're, spending a lot of time drinking or, staying out late and then thinking that you will be able to just wake up and function, like that just doesn't work. So you do have to put yourself first, and you have to learn how to say no as well. And that's something that is not taught to us. Funny, like my white analysts and associates, they say no to me sometimes. And I'm shocked, because that's something that was never taught to us. You can say no. You give a good reason why, but it's well within your right to say no. And a lot of times what we do is try to take on more and more and more work because we think that's the best thing, the best way to get ahead. But what you end up doing is you end up taking on more and putting out a lower quality product. So, the high quality product and the mental health should be the focus and the goal.
Absolutely, absolutely, my brother. I couldn't agree more. Vitamin N, as my wife would say. Saying no is essential to your self-care and quality assurance, making sure that whatever you put out into the world is of its highest form, at your highest potential. And that can only happen if you're balanced, especially part of that 5 a.m. club, as you mentioned. That's something that I teach my sons. Anyone that has the ability to purchase the book by Robin Sharma, 5 a.m. Club, it creates legends like our brother Sasha Boxell. Thank you, Sasha. We're going to hand it off to our colleague, Tim Frey. Tim, as mentioned before, rest as a form of resistance. It's come up in our community. We're taking on extra labor. A lot of times we're not putting out our best product. How are you navigating mental well-being and self-care as a Black man in business?
Well, thank you, Victor. It's funny that you mentioned this now after most people here, I'm not sure that they don't know me, but I just buried my brother. He died at CAMH on December the 11th. And I was in a meeting 2 days ago with the clinical technicians. Because I come from the business sector, everyone's always concerned when you have partners around the world, how are they dealing with their growth of their business, but at the same time, exercising their muscle, which is your brain, because it does affect economic development and every aspect that we talked about. So talking to the clinical technicians, we're like, what tools did we give the people, our Black people at CAMH, besides medicine to sedate them in order for them to be successful in their career? Because a lot of people come in and out of CAMH or Clark. So for myself, they asked me, how am I at my age, 55 years old and working at all the big corporations outside of our community, like Ross, for 30-something years, dealing with the tasks that we have to develop businesses and keep going and have tons of people that work for us or work with us. I just like working out, you find everyone uses weights, so not everyone uses ellipticals. You have to find the right tools for your brain. And I find the right ways of actually dealing, like Sasha, whether it's meditation or whether it's watching a good show with your family that makes you laugh, or whether it's just taking that break in the afternoon, having a siesta. Like a couple of my clients in the Browning community, we take a siesta at 5 o'clock to get back to work at 7. You know what I mean? It's finding what works for you in order to be productive in your business activities. So I found that that way of getting those tools to be productive, I find those tools and I found work for me. And I think whenever I now help develop businesses, we talked about that also. We talked about what are you doing throughout the day without spending 16 hours a day just working? What are you doing for your mental health to keep you going the next day and get up? So I find that finding those tools that best work for you, everyone's different. We need to focus on that and understand that, our brain is an organ. We need to actually exercise.
Absolutely. I give thanks for your leadership, as always. I'm going to actually hand it off right now to our brother that just joined us, Jason Allen John. Jason, if you can introduce yourself to the brothers as well. Right now, the question that's on the floor is many of our colleagues have raised awareness around rest as a form of resistance. As a business leader and entrepreneur, how essential is self-care and well-being in your work? So please introduce yourself, Brother Jason, what you do, your business, and then as well, if you can address the question on the floor. Thank you, brother.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure to be here. My name is Jason Allen John, and I'm a mortgage broker and developer out of Toronto, working on a couple of projects, including a mutual fund trust that's going to be raising money for developers. But just based on that question thing of rest, rest is very important. And it's been a little difficult for me because I got a little newborn, but as far as rest goes, I think it's important to be able to recover and to be able to rejuvenate. Me and my family went to Jamaica the other day, and we haven't been away since like the pandemic. So that break was like so great for us because we were just kept going and going and going. And I felt like I was just going. But it seems like when you wear multiple hats, it's like rest is not, it sometimes feels like it's not an option. But if you don't take the rest, then you could burn out, So it's very, very important to get your rest and to rejuvenate. And I do miss some of my sleep, but it's not because of business, it's because of my son. So it's a different thing though. But work-life balance is very important. And, the great thing about in my world being like self-employed and working from home, there's sometimes I'll just take like a midday nap And, you know, maybe I won't get that 8 hours of sleep, but maybe from like 2 to 3, I'll block off my calendar and I'll just turn off the lights and just kind of like, even if it's in my chair, just take a little nap and just rest. But overall, it's just, you know, recovery is important, taking care of yourself, eating well, drinking lots of water, all that kind of stuff is important to keep going as a business individual with all the challenges that we face every day. So that would be like my answer to that question.
Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. As my brilliant sister Stephanie always tells me, sharing an oral tradition, the work that we do is therapeutic. So what we are doing right now as brothers come together to build on this. It's therapeutic. It's healing. I want to go to my brother, Devon Jones. Devon has been one of my mentors for, wow, almost 20 years now. I'm 39 right now. And this brother, in terms of work-life balance, I've seen just such resilience and tenacity to be a husband and father and to have to maintain a family, but as well, hundreds of young people in Jane and Finch, one of the poorest socioeconomic circumstances in the country in terms of the socioeconomic circumstance of our people in that community. Brother Devon, how do you navigate self-care, brother, with all the tennis trips with Sister Adira and all the baseball with Brother Asefa? How do you navigate, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't good at it at first. You know, it was a lot of work, deadlines, getting stuff done, you know, but the older I got, I realized that I really have to invest in myself. I have to invest in my health. Not only that, you know, I have a staff of 15 and I ensure that twice a week, you know, we work out together as a family, you know, as a staff, as a team, as a family. We all go to Planet Fitness together, you know. You know, we have a trainer that comes in this building and spend an hour and a half with us once a week. You know, diet and nutrition and all that, it's extremely important to us because you know, a healthy team is a productive team, you know, and also the work-life balance as being a parent over time is one that I've learned to balance, because you can get lost in community. And when you get lost in community, you can lose your children. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I've been through with my oldest son. So I make sure that, as it relates to my 17-year-old and my 12-year-old, I'm there as.
Thank you, my brother, for your leadership as always. We're gonna go to Alfred and then Brother Pharaoh.
Love the contributions here. You know, I'm 26, and so I'm sure there's a lot I can learn from all you brothers on taking care of myself and rest and all that. One thing that has been beneficial for me is actually, you know, intentionally taking time and going into nature and, you know, putting the phone down and saying, you know, I'm not on my phone this whole day, this entire day. I'm going to unplug. I know not everyone has the chance to actually do that. And I know sometimes it's hard to get that balance to even have the option to do that. But I would encourage people to find that time when possible to get into nature, to put the phone down and to slow down. For me, like, you know, recently I did fall in love with spending time in nature. And one thing that I realized in my spending time in nature, it's allowed me to reflect on perhaps childhood traumas or childhood situations that I haven't had the space to reflect on or to make sense of. And so I know for me that's been helpful in getting me unstuck in some areas of my life, is actually getting the time to slow down, reflect, and to, you know, remind myself of who I am, and then keep going and come back and keep going. And I know it's not something that everyone has a chance to do often, but I would encourage people to try that and to take your team, maybe take your entire team out to nature for a day too, and find some space, put the phone down and connect with each other without the digital devices. But yeah, time in nature has been helpful for me in terms of healing, resting, and getting, you know, energized.
I couldn't agree more, brother. For a period of 24 days, about 2 months ago, every day I was walking 7 a.m. to the tennis courts near my house, about 7 minutes away from my house, with my daughters, my wife, my youngest son. My oldest son was in school those times. And those are my healthiest, most productive days I've had in years. I want to get back to it. I keep on saying Monday, but I'm saying on to say that nature, that those walks every morning, so productive, so healthy. So so thank you for those actionable insights. And brother, you're 26, but your wisdom way outweighs your lived experience. So please don't ever, shy away from the leadership that you can gain from some of the elders in the room, but also the wisdom and guidance that we can learn from you. That's what intergenerational collaboration is about. So we appreciate your insights, despite your age. We appreciate you. Yes, sir. I'm going to go to Brother Pharaoh Hamid Freeman.
Yeah, well, actually, we're definitely of one mind because Brother Darren and Brother Devon and Brother Alfred both just said what I wanted to echo. But in terms of work and work and family balance, what I have found is that when I was when I started in business, I was always telling myself I'm going to get it done, and later on I'll have more time to spend with the family. Later on I'll have more time. Like I'm doing this now to get somewhere, and then once I'm there, then I'll be able to spend more time. And then, but I really have to come to realize that it's like the nature of the work that we do is, like they say, it's a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. So it's something that it's almost never ending, so to speak. So it's something that where I did see the value and find and make the time to be able to have my family more involved, or for myself to spend more time with family. And the other thing is just connecting with nature. We've had the opportunity within the OFC to create a holistic healing retreat and campground where we have initiatives on a regular basis where we bring people out of nature. And this whole concept of Black people don't camp and don't spend time in nature. It's like, it's a narrative that we really need to work hard to change, because we are of the earth, and the more we reconnect with Gaia and the planet, the stronger we become and the more conscious we are. So yeah, so that was it. Thanks.
Well, as you said, Gaia, I'd like to say, as we reconnect with Asasiya, as we would say, Brother Ryan's hands up, and then we're going to move on to the next question.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate convening like this. To me, this is rest. So being able to learn and interact with brothers that are doing things that are amazing and I can learn from is always awesome. But that's one thing that helps me rest, is being able to talk to somebody. And when we talked about the initial question, like what are the business models, I've seen the BBPA create that hotline that entrepreneurs can call. And so ACBN, we try to open up our phone lines too, so people can just talk to somebody, because we realize a person gets so much more out of it than just the advice. Just being able to talk to somebody. I know for myself, when I'm under my desk and payroll's coming up and the world just looks bleak, being able to I'll call Victor and be like, listen, I just need to vent and just talk it out, and then getting that feedback that, listen, this isn't the end of the world. This is something that you're going to be able to come back from. You can't put a price on stuff like that. So having these conversations, and one thing to also look at when we talk about collaborating, to shift from the language that we need to collaborate and that we are collaborating, because things like this, I heard, as Sasha mentioned, he's working with a developer to create a company. Everybody that's on here that does collaborating, we need to talk to that first and not start from, we need to, and just say, we are already collaborating and how do we add to it? Because I'm seeing it all around me. So I'm really feeding off that energy. So appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, brother. So this is the last question before this call to actions. As it relates to structural racism, anti-Black racism, and systemic discrimination, what are some of the best practices or tools or models you feel are advancing some form of gender and racial justice within our communities in your experience? Or are there any scenarios that you just want to share as brothers in terms of structural racism, anti-Black racism, systemic discrimination that you faced in your work? I can give an example very quickly. My colleagues and I are developing something called the Sustainable Finance World Forum. We're developing this because of our engagements with another entity very similarly that was very racist towards us. And we realized, as opposed to trying to assert ourselves at your table, we'll build our own. And every time me and my brothers have come together and sisters have come together to build our own tables, magics happen. But once again, that came from a trauma of anti-Black racism and structural racism. I'm going to hand it off. So in my moment of vulnerability, I'd love to share with, Chris, I see you smiling. Has there ever, in terms of structural racism, anti-Black racism, systemic discrimination, are there any best practices that you'd like to share or any circumstances you'd like to share that with our colleagues here today?
Thanks, Victor. Well, actually, you said something that's really critical. Trying to be part of somebody else's table is a challenge because they don't want you to be there and they do everything in their power to make sure that you're not there. In fact, the system is structured in such a way that we're not part of that table. But we have the ability, and just the fact that we can sit here today and talk about it is that we can create. And creating your own doesn't mean that you run off in a corner and just start your own stuff. It means that you take the same system that's here, you look for areas in that system that you can piggyback off of, and then go out and create and build. Because the thing about it, you can build, I call it the diver's approach. You know, when you jump off like if you look at diving in the Olympic, you jump into the water, but you stay under the water for a while before you come up. But when you come up, you've done so much in that short space of time that if they try to stop you, you already have momentum. And that's the thing that we have to do. And the reason why I use the word collaboration early on, because that's the only how we can build strength together to make sure. I mean, for me, I used to work in the financial services. I worked for there for almost 20 years. Actually, it's more than 20 years in the financial services industry. And my exit from there was because every time a vice president position came up, they blocked me. Every single time he came up, they did everything in their power. And I only found out last year, somebody who retired said to me, Chris, well, now I'm retired, I can tell you what happened. She said, and this person, and they call the name of a person, that every time your name came up, they knew you had the capability, but they did everything in their power just not to make you get inside of there. So I left the financial service industry, and it's the best thing that happened to me because I left there and started my own. And now, if I got to the vice president or senior vice president, whatever the case might be, I don't think I would have accomplished what I have accomplished today being in those scenarios. So that's why I think it's critical for us to look and see exactly what we can do and how we can build. We have the capabilities to build and form structures and form organizations that could help the younger generation as they come forward and build off of what we have. So I think that's critical for us to do that. It's important for us to build. And using that is terminology that I want to say.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I give thanks for your leadership as always. As our ancestor Marcus Garvey said, with confidence, you win before you start. And I always get such confidence from you. But he also said leadership is blood, sweat, and death. And I think your insights are so important. So we're going to go to our remarkable colleague, Sasha Boxell, who's also been in the financial sector for some time.
Hi, yeah. So I've worked in banking, like as I said before, 15 years. And I'll give you two small examples of what I call microaggressions, because in today's world, nobody's walking around calling you, an N-word to your face, and they'll never admit to actually being racist. But I'll tell you, I was at a dinner with my boss, his wife, and my wife, and there was the whole group, significant others. My boss's wife, a white man, and his white wife, the wife came up to me and said that she's reading a book about a white woman that's sleeping with a Black man, and she's pregnant, and she's at the part of the book where she's not sure who's the father. And this was her way of trying to relate to me, right? Trying to find some common ground. And, that's just one example. Another example, when I was an analyst, a Black custodian was walking by, changing the garbage, and the guy sitting next to me, a white man, he looked at me and he said, "Is that your cousin?" Again, like just small microaggressions. And so the way you navigate this, look, I currently I go to meetings all over the country with CFOs, CEOs of, billion-dollar REITs. And in maybe 100 meetings I've been to, there's maybe been 2 other Black faces that sit on the executive board of these companies. So this is predominantly, I'm 99% of the time the only Black person in the room. And the way that you deal with these microaggressions is, one, like, you can't be too harsh because they don't view you as friendly, right? They want you to be able to take a joke, but then you also don't want to roll over because you have to maintain your self-respect and some dignity and pride in what you're doing. So, the way I deal with it is, one, you don't laugh at this. You always maintain a level of rising above, because at the end of the day, look, I do need the work, but I'm working on my stuff on the side, but this is what is supporting my family. So it's maintaining a level of professionalism at all time. And you be the example of what a professional is in that space, because if you take their lead, you end up in the same foolishness and you don't get the same pass that they get. So what I tell the young Black brothers and sisters that come into my purview is that, always walk around with your head high, put your best foot forward. Don't partake in the cooler talks where people are saying nonsense, because if somebody walks by and overhears anything, the first thing that they remember is you. So just stay away from that, and just always keep yourself at the highest regard. And that's the way that I've modeled my career, and my career has been good. And when it gets so bad, I just leave the firm. And it's funny, I've left my firm and I've had several people call me to try to get me to come back, or a previous firm that I was at. And where you're not valued, you go somewhere else, because we are all powerful. We all are really smart. So there's no point in sticking around at a place where you're not welcome. But that's been my experience. It's not the funnest. But as you keep growing and as you keep climbing, like I'm at a position now where people are coming to me, and I have garnered all the respect. There's no more of that anymore. And so you just kind of have to roll with it.
So thank you so much for your vulnerability, and your resilience, your tenacity, and your self-determination to be able to navigate those minefields and represent us well as a brother. We appreciate you. Brother Tony, do you want to weigh in on this? And once again, the question is, as it relates to structural racism, anti-Black racism, and systemic discrimination, are there any best practices, tools, or models you feel are genuinely advancing justice, equity, or are there any experiences that you've had that you love to share with the brotherhood? Because as mentioned, this conversation alone as brothers is therapeutic.
I mean, there's some good points that were already touched on, and I definitely relate to a lot. There's a lot of microaggressions, of course, but the way I look at it, I mean, I'm a practical guy. I look at the world, we're already fighting a battle that we're hundreds of years behind. And one thing we can't do about it is play a victim mentality and sit here and say, well, it sucks, what am I going to do? It's just the way the world is right now. And I think the only way forward is looking at your chessboard, understanding what are your best moves, understanding how can you leverage people in positions who aren't, I guess, in our position, right? Leveraging the white folks who are willing to be allies. And it's something I've done. There's guys who are triple my age, double my age, who are in successful positions, who have been willing to mentor me solely on the fact that I'm a hustler. And I go up to them with humility. I say, look, you're in a position, you've sold multiple tech companies. This is what I'm trying to get to. I would love for your guidance. And along the way, they see me hustling and reciprocate that energy. So I think leveraging the chessboard of others, first of all, that's always a smart strategy. People who have already made it and are allies, not being a victim and understanding the way the world is currently set up and moving forward. I believe someone, I forget who said it, setting up our own table is exactly what we're doing here, right? All of us are up to important things. All of us are making big business moves. I think if we were to find ways to collaborate with each other and other networks, not even just in Canada, the States, wherever it is, Africa, I think over the next century, the world would be in a different position for people like us.
Absolutely. And we can't forget our ancestors. It's 100 years. And what you just said, Marcus Garvey was telling folks, you know what I mean? So it is an intergenerational struggle. And we want to make sure that we make our ancestors proud. And 100 years from now, our children are having these conversations. They've been able to see the demonstration of our collective leadership. I see Brother Sunil Gordon has his hand up, and then Ryan, and then I see Brother Samuel, I believe, as well. Brother Sunil, can you introduce yourself, your business to the brotherhood, and then assert, obviously, the insight that you have for us?
Blessings. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well. Go ahead, brother.
Yes. Sorry for my diligence. I just seen the post. My apologies. My name is Sunil Gordon. I'm the creative director for Sunny Boy Farm. We grow out of Pickering, Ontario. What we don't grow, we definitely supplement through local farms. Overall, what we strive to do is to really bring quality to the community and be able to give them back time and money to where they could do more with what they want. We supplement our stuff through partnerships, local and international. And the way we have done that is to really build the partnerships, the collaborations with individuals that offset our industry. And I feel that with the systemic racism or systemic barriers that come with situations that we as Black people face, is that I'm hearing, even in this conversation, I'm hearing, oh, we have to build our own table. But something came to me where understand is that the table's already been built. It's just we're all eating at different places. It's like a broken family one's eating in the living room, one's eating in their bedroom. The table is already built. We just have to come back to the table as a collective, as a partnership, and be able to continue to execute. I feel that if we understand how the economy works, if somebody has to lack, reparations is something that we were calling for. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things that we feel that if somebody has a lack, then reparation is not going to allow us to strive. So we have to leverage systems. We have to leverage individuals who have already been striving, find the right mentorship. So as a young Black man, I feel that those are things that I feel that are lacking within the community, is that there's no passing the torch up to young people like ourselves to continue this legacy that already has structure, organizations that's in place, that's been proven from trial and error, for us to now take it as a young man and execute it and do the same thing for the future generations to come. So I think we just have to come back to the table. We just have to continue to work as a partnership and to be able to leverage things within industries that we see is going to be able to build a bigger picture, from the financial sectors to the farming to the real estate, whatever the government has their hands in that we could leverage to make a better and stronger power and partnership and collaboration is what we're building over here. And we just want to continue to build the individuals that sees fit. And conversations like this leads to dialogue and application that makes great movements. So thank you.
Right.
No, I appreciate that. And especially the food sovereignty work that you've been doing for such a long time, my brother. We appreciate your leadership and salute you. In terms of your points, I agree completely. I think as Black men in business, we have to recognize that the ultimate institution that we're building for and affirms our work is family. Family is the ultimate institution that supports our work. And in terms of intergenerational collaboration and building for the future, we do that through our children. I assure you, my 2 sons and 2 daughters will never need a resume. They will never enter the bottom of the wealth quadrant as an employee or self-employed. They started as business owners, and they'll probably exit as investors and landowners. So I'm saying all to say that as Black men in business, the cornerstone of our family is sovereignty, and business is such a fundamental part of husbandry, of fatherhood, of being a Black man, whether you're having a partner in the future or whether you have one currently. So we always have to remember what we're fighting for, and it's for our families, and a healthy community is just that. A set of strong families that interact, and healthy communities is what builds strong nations. I'm going to hand it off to our brother Ryan, and then
yeah, one thing that I noticed that works very well is bringing each other into rooms so that we're not the only one in the room. And that's one thing I know, Brother Victor, you talked about, that the board pact, so that people trying to use you as the token, you kind of push back against that and say, no, I don't move by myself. Because like Sunil was saying, there's a table that's built and we have to now bring each other to that table. And that for me has reduced it never eliminates racism. That's why I feel like our fight to eliminate anti-Black racism might not be possible, but the way that we interact with it and understand it and then maneuver around it, I think can be controlled. Like that's what we can control ourselves. And so that's how I've been interacting with it, to make sure that I don't move alone. And anytime it's feasible, I bring people with me into the rooms. Just wanted to add that.
Absolutely. Brother Ryan's talking about something called the African-Canadian Governance Pact, which was developed to never go alone, in the spirit of Ubuntu, I am because we are, in the spirit of, as opposed to fast alone, far together. So I appreciate you asserting that pact. And as you know, I recently had to practice that model by turning down an opportunity to sit on the Social Innovation Advisory Council for the federal government, primarily based off of some of the things we're talking about right now. Go ahead, Brother Devon.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I echo the points raised by most. You know, initially, you know, Brother Sasha and Brother Tony spoke about, like, you know, brand integrity. You know, brand integrity. I'm going to attach programmatic integrity to that, because as it stands, you know, there's always assumptions of mediocrity and incompetence where we're concerned as a people, you know, and oftentimes, you know, some of us reinforce those stereotypes. Oftentimes we echo those outputs. So we have to be mindful of being overly productive. We have to be mindful of just a level of integrity as it relates to program. You know, we have to be mindful of capacity and deliverables. So I think, yes, those structural pieces around race exist, and you know, there's key pieces around understanding the landscape, navigating the landscape, know where the pitfalls are, know what particular entities are that's not in any way receptive or conducive to us. But on our end, we also have to be mindful of the deliverables, and be mindful of how we represent and present ourselves as individuals and as a community.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to go into closing on that note, and I will always close with our brother Malcolm El-Haj Malik Shabaz's words: we're not outnumbered, we're out-organized. Let me say it again: we're not outnumbered, we're out-organized. Today on a Saturday, a group of brothers came together to build as brothers, as community leaders, as business owners and operators. And this is a tremendous demonstration of leadership. So right now, in terms of closing I am statements, once again, very simple. Just your name and the way you're feeling in this moment. I will start by saying, my name is Victor Bosele, husband, father of 4. I'm currently the steward, executive director of SETSI, and I'm feeling grateful, full of gratitude for all of you brothers who were able to invest in the time to come together in solidarity and demonstrate this level of leadership and African excellence. I'm going to hand it off to my colleague, Ross Kadastra.
Yes, Ross Kadas, chair of the BBPA, and I am feeling inspired. And you know, as a business owner myself for a number of years, I have learned today. So very, very thankful. Very, very happy to be part of this conversation, and more so to have the BBPA work with SETSI on this initiative. It is good. We are called as Black men to build generational wealth for our families. And this is where it starts, in forums like this and with conversations like this. So I'm inspired.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. I'm going to go move on to our brother, Tony Downey. Go ahead, brother.
Tony Downey here from Jobify. Thank you all for having me. This has been lovely. I feel like hustling. I always feel like hustling. Probably get into some stuff today, see what I could get done. But it's been a good talk. I hope we do more of these, and learned a lot from you all.
Indeed, indeed, brother. We give thanks for your leadership. We'll hand it off to our brother, Ryan O'Neill Knight.
Yeah, I love that word, inspired, because that's what bubbled in me too, Ross. So I'm going to go with that. Again, like Tony said, if we can keep these kind of conversations going, I'm on board. We learned so much, and energy is what I would rather be doing on a Saturday than writing applications and work. So one thing, just to engage or embrace the white space on your calendar. If there is space there, don't feel like you have to fill it. I know I really jumped to fill empty space. There was empty space and this came in, and I love that I had time to be able to be on a conversation like this. So thank you.
Absolutely, brother. We're gonna hand it off to our brother Tossin.
Yeah, so I feel really inspired and grateful for the opportunity to be on this call and hear from, Black brothers within the society that are trying to bring change, trying to bring impact to the society. So I'm grateful for that. And also the potential that we can unlock. There's something that you said now around us being not organized. And I think that that's pretty much it. It resonates so much with me because there's so much generational wealth that we can create. Very recently at the BBPA board retreat, I was made aware of the stats that I think a dollar only stays 6 hours within our community, and some other communities over 28 days. And there's so much value that we can create by working together. I think somebody else mentioned it on the call around the collaboration that we can, how much we can work together to make sure that our community is where it ought to be, because we don't lack any talent, very clearly. The growth that we need to have very, very important seats at the table, I think we have that talent within the community. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to share with the brothers within the society.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate your leadership as always. We're going to go to our brother Alfred Bergeson.
Thank you, Victor. Thanks, everyone. This is really great. I am feeling fulfilled. I had a busy week. I was traveling. I was on the road. I got in back to Halifax late last night, and kind of slept in today. And when I saw Victor's message, I said, "Oh shit! Like I gotta jump on this thing. I'm rested right now." But honestly, this was a form of rest. I agree with Ryan earlier. There's different forms of rest for sure, and I did find it very therapeutic, and I feel fulfilled. So thank you, Victor, and BBPA
leadership, brother. We're gonna hand it off to our brother, Chris Alexander.
Thanks, Victor, and thanks everyone for being part of this today. I feel humbled and I feel excited. Excited for the sense that these are opportunities where we can get together, where we can talk together, where we can share ideas together. But the thing about it is that we come out with solutions that we can take and move forward and make changes. So I feel, first of all, really humbled to be invited to this, but also I'm really excited about the opportunities that we have. So thanks for having me here today.
Incredible. We give thanks, Elder Chris. We're going to go to our brother Jason Allen John.
Thank you again. My name is Jason Allen John, and I'm thankful to be part of a strong group of Black men, as I see here today on a Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, I should say. And looking forward to participating in more things. And obviously, as you guys have all been talking, I've kind of just been researching you guys, and it's inspiring to see all the things that everybody's doing. And, I'm looking forward to hopefully collaborating with everybody as we move forward and push all of our agendas forward. I heard someone say it's like we got to look to see what other people are doing in the community before we start, because we could always piggyback off of other people. So because sometimes I feel like competition is not great. Collaboration is better than competition. So how do we get more collaboration? And talks like these encourage that. So thank you, Victor, for allowing me to be a part of it. I know I was late, but father duties called.
Good, brother. All good. And just to be clear, as my elder tells me, creativity always mitigates competition. As long
I love that one. Great.
Yeah, I think the great Nipsey Hussle also said that creativity. If I can create, if I'm in my lane, I have no competition. If anything, I'm competing with myself yesterday. You know what I mean?
I love that.
We're gonna go on to our brother Clement Sassine. Brother, we like your I am statement as we close out.
Thank you very much, Victor, and the entire team. My name is Clement Sassine with BIPOC Foundation, calling from Lethbridge, Alberta. I just want to take the time to thank everyone, because we're here today. It's a matter of choice. We could be doing anything right now. We could be anywhere, really. We could be with family. We could be, doing business and making money, but we chose to be here to have this all-important conversation about growing and building the community. And it's huge. I just want to, thank everybody for being here, and also to say that I am committed to taking the learnings from here and to continue to do the work and share this learning within the community and make sure that we continue to grow stronger as a community. Thank you.
Ashe, thank you so much for your leadership, my brother. I appreciate you. We're going to move on to our brother Kwame Mensah.
Thank you for this wonderful presentation. My name is Kwame Mensah. I'm based in Canada. In regards to how I'm feeling, the I am statement, I'm actually feeling quite optimistic, because I feel like in regards to us as a community, one of our shortcomings is the inability to work collaboratively. And if you assess other communities, you can see that it's pivotal, and their trajectory in regards to success is based upon the fact that they're able to collaborate. So I feel optimistic, because sometimes when you're in business and you feel alone, you don't really see that there's the end of the light of tunnel. But when you have a group of people, I'm a firm believer in group economics because, again, I love Marcus Garvey, and as Victor stated, he was saying this a long time ago. So it's actually great that we actually are implementing some of that knowledge and that wisdom, and we're able to work collaboratively and uplift ourselves for now and generations to come. So I'm feeling quite optimistic, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this talk today. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your leadership as always, as always. We're gonna move to our brother Samuel Apia.
So blessed to have you even in my life. I always tell my wife that you're my mentor every day. And thank you for, inviting me. And like I've learned a lot today. I've really learned a lot today. And I just want to thank everybody who also contributed to this.
Yes, thank you so much, gentlemen. I want to say I am empowered. I feel empowered today. I'm from Hospice Group of Businesses once again. I represent Executive Power Up. Like what Sasha said, I was that fly in that vat of milk in corporations for 3.5 decades, white corporations, and you felt alone sometimes, but as Ryan has pulled me out of there to help the Black associations, and I tell you right now, I feel so empowered that as Chris said, someone else said, we have a table here. We don't have to go and try to be that one person in that table of another corporation when we have the table right here. We just need to be, as you made me feel empowered to bring other people to this table, and let's do some great things. But execution, I want to say, execution is key. When I sit at those other tables, I make them tens of millions of dollars because we execute, and then therefore now more pours into us to do more and more. We need to do the same thing and have that fine balance between just talking and just discussing, but also with execution. So I feel empowered to continue this talk as we go, but also, put some solutions, base some solutions together to make sure it happens for our community.
So peace, everybody. So I'm, again, Farah Hamid Freeman, the founder and director of the OFC. And I'm really excited for the future. I'm excited for the potential of what us coming together as a collective is going to be able to produce. Again, seeing everything that's focused within the OFC is building for our future generation. And I really feel like with this type of collective, these type of conversations are establishing an extremely solid foundation for our future to be able to build on. So I'm excited for the future. Thanks for having me here.
Well, thank you, brother, for all the work you've done in Montreal, across Quebec for so long, tirelessly, sometimes without compensation or compassion for your brilliance. So, brother, I applaud your tenacity and your resilience. Yeah, you make our ancestors proud. So thank you, Pharaoh. We're going to hand it off to our brother Isaac Olawalafe. Introduce yourself. And if you have a call to action for the Brotherhood, because you weren't here for the conversation, but we'd still want to hear from you, who you are, what you do, and a call to action for the Black community.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the hood, just on construction site here. Good to see everyone. I think really the biggest call for the action with everything going on right now is collaboration. There's massive opportunity for our community. Massive opportunity from an economic point of view. That's my focus. From an infrastructure point of view, business point of view, tech point of view, entrepreneurship point of view, and each and every one of us here plays a role. From Quebec to Ottawa to Nova Scotia to BC to Ontario, across Canada, we all play a role within our organizations. We all have different networks. And the biggest thing right now, if we collaborate, any of the pockets that we have, any of the capital that we have, like just in this group right now, there's $500 million access and more, right? So what infrastructure are we doing? What programs are we leveraging together? I see Devin there, his kids, how is that being leveraged with the programs that we're doing? How is that being leveraged with BBPA? How is that being leveraged with other organizations, right? If there's facility that needs to be built and we have funding for it, how are we leveraging it together to build more infrastructure, right? So I think that's the biggest thing that we're missing right now. We got program dollars, we got startup dollars. Now we got to leverage our voices so we can get infrastructure dollars. And then once we have infrastructure dollars, we'll have sustainability. Once we have sustainability, then the conversation is, okay, who are we supporting in government? So that government, when they're making policies are bringing us to the table, not just one or two people, but collectively all of us, right? So it's great to see everyone.
Absolutely, brother. I couldn't agree more in terms of the infrastructure and sustainability piece. Thank you for all that you do on behalf of our community.
Thanks, Brother Victor. I love what Brother Isaac said. But I'm feeling very empowered and very supported. The reason being is that, there's a lot of lived experience in this room right now, and a lot of power, a lot of value. And on the road to, becoming that individual that is of value and will be able to create value, you have to be able to pull from experience, lived experience, and you have to be able to feel that people have your back. As leaders within our space or leaders within our communities, sometimes we fall short because we don't have the support system. So knowing that we have a brotherhood of lived experience, creativity, and power and vision, we're able to now come together collaboratively and to just continue to push forward. So I feel really empowered, really supported, and let's get it.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And that last but not least, my big bro, one of my mentors, Devon Jones. Any closing thoughts, your I am statement, brother?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling enthusiastic and optimistic. I think that to echo everyone's point, just a piece around being strategic, understanding the landscape so we can navigate effectively. So, and of course, just collaboration, just like-minded, productive, consistent, outcome-driven people, outcome-driven people from the Black community working together to ensure that we structure pieces around our posterity and direction. So I think it's up to us. This is a great table, and there's a lot that we can accomplish. But I think that, again, we got to be completely strategic, and we have to execute.
Absolutely, brother. I agree completely. In the spirit of our ancestors, we need that excellence to execute as brothers, as men, as husbands, as fathers, as leaders. So we want to end this session the way we began, by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We also acknowledge all our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you so much, brothers, for your leadership. I greatly, greatly appreciate you.